New Super Mario Bros. Wii No Bricks was a pretty fun video to make. Surely a video along the same lines for New Super Mario Bros. U would be just as much of a fun, light project to work on. Oh no. Well, no turning back now. Is it possible to beat New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe without touching a single brick block? Just like last time, our goal is to beat the game without touching any brick blocks. So these. Anything else, even if it is block shaped, is fair game to touch. If we do happen to touch a brick block in our adventures, then the only valid course of option is seppuku, and starting the level over. With all that made clear, let's play some levels. Acorn Plains 1, Acorn Plains Way, actually has quite a few bricks in it. However, none of them are too difficult to dodge with just a bit of patience and caution. Or with a highly refined speedrun through the level perfected by tons of times revisiting the level. Just like in New Super Mario Bros. Wii, this first level is a great place to get a very useful power-up. In this case, the Super Acorn. So yeah, we'll probably be coming back here quite a bit. Acorn Plains 2, Tilted Tunnel, does have a few tricky sections, but nothing that's a run-ender. The trickiest part for me was trying to remember where the secret exit actually was, but once that information was rediscovered, we were able to get said secret exit and even grab a fire flower on the way out. The secret exit leads us to Acorn Plains Blooper, Blooper's secret lair, which is a water level with bloopers, made considerably easier by the fire flower we acquired, and even easier by the fact that there are barely any brick blocks at all in this level. Beating that level takes us all the way to Soda Jungle 1, Jungle of the Giants, which features tons of giant bricks. A squirrel suit is a must to get past this level. Successfully getting through this level will require a fair amount of jumping from enemy to enemy, but I'd advise not getting too carried away with it. There are instances of regular ground which you can and should take advantage of. Just stay off the bricks and don't lose the squirrel suit. Next up, we encounter a fork between Soda Jungle 2 and Soda Jungle 3. I opted for 2, Bridge over Poisoned Waters, which was probably the wrong choice. This level has tons of bricks in it, some appearing in relatively small, easily managed clusters, and some spanning massive gaps that cause you to have to essentially make blind jumps. That being said, I actually beat the level first try, so with a squirrel suit at least, I guess it really can't be that bad. Next up is Snake Block Tower, and this is the starting screen. Well, this is a textbook impossible level if I've ever seen one. And unfortunately, we can't get through Soda Jungle without beating this level. However, we may be able to bypass Soda Jungle entirely. There are secret exits in Frosted Glacier and Sparkling Waters, which can take us all the way to Rock Candy Mines, the world after Soda Jungle. That does mean we'll have to get through all of Acorn Plains and Larry Cake Desert. Oh well, let's get to it. It isn't any more difficult to beat Tilted Tunnel normally than by using the secret exit, so no problems here. And while we're at it, let's catch Nabbit in Acorn Plains Way, because why not? Up next is Crushing Cog's Tower, which does have a fair number of bricks scattered throughout it, but none that are too difficult to avoid. And the rest of Acorn Plains is really no issue to get past. Getting through Layer Cake Desert is similarly simple. Next, we must choose if we'll be taking on Frosted Glacier or Sparkling Waters. I chose Sparkling Waters, which doesn't pose much of a challenge from a bricks perspective until we reach Giant Skewer Tower. To start with, this jump near the beginning of the level is completely impossible without a squirrel suit. With the squirrel suit, it's actually quite easy. After conquering that obstacle, this room looked like it might be difficult, but proved to be very easy. And that's the tower beaten. Next up is Haunted Shipwreck, in which basically all difficulty stemmed from trying to find the secret exit. Once you remember where it is, bricks don't really factor in all that much. Having taken the secret exit, we can skip all the way to Rock Candy Mines. But first, we need to beat this beanstalk level, which doesn't even have any brick blocks, so no problem. Now that is in opposition to the first level in Rock Candy Mines, Fuzzy Clifftop, which does have bricks. Granted, none that are actually any difficult to avoid, but still. Things remain easy from a bricks perspective in Rock Candy Mines 2, Porcupuffer Falls. Grinding Stone Tower features this jump, which is mildly tricky. After that, we become Mini Mario and cautiously attack the rest of the castle. And since we're Mini Mario, we can even take the secret exit. That takes us to Rock Candy Mines 6, Thrilling Spine Coaster, which is a very brick-light level. A squirrel suit is particularly helpful when trying to get through Screwtop Tower. It really comes in handy on this part, and aside from that, it's just really nice to essentially skip past half the obstacles. Rock Candy Mine 7, Shifting Floor Cave, has exactly one section where bricks become a problem. Right here. Now, with a squirrel suit, this would be easy. However, I have a fire flower, which means we have to jump on this Koopa just right to get across. Certainly possible, honestly not the most difficult maneuver we've done up to this point, but it's certainly not difficult. One of the last obstacles in Roy's Conveyor Castle is quite tricky. Going on the lower path would be quite difficult in light of the bricks and low ceiling. The solution I found was squeezing between this conveyor belt and the upper platforms, and with that, we're off to Meringue Clouds. The first level of Meringue Clouds is called Land of Flying Blocks, and by blocks, they mean brick blocks. Tons of brick blocks, in fact. Now obviously, if you want even the slightest hope of getting through this level, we'll need a flying squirrel suit. Heck, maybe we can even try using the pea acorn. Nah, we might need it later. Let's see what we can get done with a regular squirrel suit. Dodging the bricks before getting on the cloud is pretty easy. Then the first set of bricks on the cloud can be dodged by a quick glide and burst up. Next up are these 3 C's, which to avoid, we wait for the cloud to pass about as far underneath them as possible, then jump off and glide underneath them, bursting back up onto the cloud once the obstacle has been overcome. We then duck underneath the next set of bricks, and be sure to time running to avoid this piranha plant. The next C is a tough squeeze, but can certainly be bounded over. Now, we get to relax a bit, as this screen wraps up, and if somehow we lost the squirrel suit through all of that, there is one in this question mark block. Now for screen 2. Our first obstacle of bricks looks absolutely massive, but can be cleared with a simple burst up from the squirrel suit. The tough part is landing in such a way that this piranha plant doesn't take a bite out of you. After the piranha plant, we duck through this section with the red ring. These next bricks form a gap that will once again be a very tight squeeze. Or it would be if we didn't just glide under this section entirely. Finally, the last brick obstacle we come across are some bricks surrounding a starcorn, which can once again be more or less nullified by gliding beneath it. Now just don't use the bricks for reaching the top of the flagpole, and this level is beaten. I found Meringue Clouds 2 Seesaw Shrooms to be a nice, easy respite after that first level. The fact that I was riding a Lakitu Cloud for like half the level may have also had something to do with it. Next up is Slide Lift Tower. This level has a recurring motif of Fire Bros standing on brick platforms. Most of them are fairly out of the way and don't cause us much trouble. That's not the case with this one. It's a tight squeeze to get by, but with some careful planning and patience, by waiting on the platform beneath for an opening where my bro isn't throwing fire, you can jump straight up and then burst up with the squirrel suit and thread that needle. After that, I was concerned going into the Kamek fight, because Mario Maker's mechanics had me thinking that the Kamek boss arena would be made almost entirely out of bricks. Luckily, like with some other boss fights that people may have been having similar thoughts about, that was not the case. Next up, we're angling for the secret exit in Spinning Spirit House, and bricks really don't play a factor here. The main challenge was just remembering where the secret exit is. Ludwig's Clockwork Castle has one instance of bricks seriously getting in the way. that instance would be here. The solution requires a bit of creativity, but is really quite simple. You just use this large dry bones as a trampoline. Then just beat the boss and move on to boarding the airship, which has a few bricks in the beginning of the level, but ultimately no bricks that are a real threat to us. Alright, we're in the home stretch now. Peach's Castle Level 1, Meteor Moat, is an interesting case. You see, there are bricks all over this level, but if you wait long enough, most of them will be destroyed by incoming meteorites. But if you go with the waiting strategy, now you have to avoid these meteorites while you wait, all the while making sure you don't touch any bricks while you're waiting for them to be destroyed. It really was a tug of war trying to figure out if it was best to go fast or be patient. I did consider using our P acorn, but what if we really need it later? Let's just make do with normal power-ups. Whew. Certainly a rough introduction to the final world. I wonder if level 2 will hold a candle to this difficulty. Peach's Castle 2 Magma River Cruise has a lot of bricks overhead, which you'd think would make it fairly difficult, especially given the fact that you need to be, killing, i.e. jumping on enemies on your raft to stay ahead of the poison fog stuff. My experience, though, was that with a fire flower, you don't actually have to jump very much, which mostly negates the bricks overhead. Peach's Castle 3 Rising Tides of Lava has a few bricks that you might accidentally step on if you're not paying attention, but seeing as I was paying attention, this level didn't cause too much trouble. Peach's Castle Red Hot Elevator Ride features this obstacle. A solid ceiling of bricks, blocking the route we have to take. I can hardly believe it. After all we've been through, the rerouting, the tricky spots, the tight squeezes, this is where it all ends? Well, not if this P-switch has anything to say about it. Yes, hitting this P-switch turns all the bricks into coins, and of course coins are quite legal for us to touch. It's still a bit tricky and results in a bit of a close call, but we can get past this obstacle. Now for the final level. And you know what? We still have this P acorn, don't we? Well, it's the final level. Might as well use it now. I mean, what else are we going to be waiting for? And you know, honestly, this is almost boring. Well, regardless, we got past the level, now for the boss fight, which doesn't contain a single brick. Which means that it is possible to beat New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe without touching a single brick block. And what a journey it was. Honestly, if you consider trying these challenges for yourself, this might be one that I recommend. In my opinion, it falls into that almost perfect sweet spot of difficulty. Or perhaps you enjoy watching these challenges, but don't wish to partake yourself. If that sounds like you, be sure to check out some of my other challenge videos, including trying to beat New Super Mario Bros. Wii without touching a single brick block. And of course, as a responsible YouTuber, I must recommend that you like this video, comment on it, and subscribe to the channel. But anyways guys, until next time, I've been CMeeCraft, and let's hope I don't suck at the next challenge I try. Goodbye.